Hi guys, this reading is for Pisces for June 2019. Although if you're finding this video sometime after June and you're not a Pisces but you clicked on it anyway, then this reading is also for you. So you might want to grab some headphones right now so you can really pay attention to the messages coming through and eliminate any distractions that are going on. Set aside any other tasks that you might be doing so you're not multitasking, and bring all of your attention and awareness here with me for the reading so you get the most out of your time here. While I'm shuffling, please take a moment to check in with your higher self. Ask your higher self to connect to my higher self so that we can create a feedback loop to make sure that all the messages that you get are tailored for you. Wow, really beautiful spread here for you Pisces. Very optimistic and hopeful energy. There seems to be a big focus on happiness at this time and love. You have the Ace of Cups here in your reading. You have the Nine of Cups in the crowning position, along with the Sun and the Star here. So there's a lot of like really positive and hopeful energy in your reading. There's also here the Six and Eight of Wands, both in the upright position. I'm really happy to see that. That's beautiful. So what it's telling me is that there is like that maybe there's been a shift recently where you may have kind of like activated a certain kind of I'm hearing dimensional shift. That might be a little bit of a stretch for some of you if you don't use that kind of language, but I feel like for some of you watching, you might be aware of what I'm talking about when I say that. Like you may have made a leap within your psyche to kind of transition from a certain kind of realm of experience into another one where you just make that choice to access different energy, to access more cosmic energy, to be more playful in the realms of, you know, I'm hearing psychedelics for some of you. Some of you may have started experimenting recently with psychedelics and are having a really good time with that and experiencing kind of some, dimensional shifts for sure within that realm. What else is here? It's interesting that you have the Ace and the Two of Swords as well as the Ace and the Two of Cups. I'll hold those up so you can see. So there's the two Aces, one upright and one reversed. And there's the two Twos. So some of you might be at the beginning of something new. I'm hearing fledgling. Some of you might have already been like in a process of beginning something or making some changes. Wait, that was there, right? Yeah. But yeah, I feel like for some of you, you're at the early stages of a new project or a new venture or even a new relationship. And there's a moment here where you may need to be making some decisions about, you know, some black and white stuff like yes or no, I want to be with this person, or yes or no, I want to pursue that interest, or yes or no, I'm going to take that job offer, those kind of things. You're like at the early stages of certain things. And some of you may be kind of coming into the early stages of a new cycle that may have been catalyzed by some kind of difficult moment. For some of you, there might have been a financially difficult moment that kind of forced you to make decisions to start something new or to change your job or to move home, or, you know, there's something like that. You have in the position of your recent past. This is the card, the energy that you're coming into the reading with, is this Eight of Cups. And this is telling me that for some of you, you may have walked away from something, you may have left a job or left a partner, or this could simply mean energetically that you made that decision, as I said, like to make a dimensional shift, to kind of transition out of the mundane world that could be a little bit dreary sometimes and a little bit heavy, and maybe there's too much, you know, maybe you've had too much of a focus on your finances and on your work career path, and maybe you've just decided that this is time for you to kind of move your attention and move your focus, shift your focus onto things like your creative passions or other hobbies, or just simply your spiritual development and your sense of well-being and wholeness as a general as a general vibration, where you just kind of you just decide to be happy, you decide to be contented, you decide to kind of enjoy life more and be in a better spirit and be in a good mood and radiate happiness and have a glow. You know, I like this, I love this actually. Sun and 9 of Cups upright with the 6 of Wands upright and the 8 of Wands upright. All this beautiful energy, really positive and bright. Also the Star and the Ace of Cups. Like, I want to hold up every card of this reading basically. Like, all this really, really bright, hopeful, positive energy that has a kind of, I'm hearing endurance. But there's something's been activated in you recently. That's what I feel with that 8 of Wands and the 6 of Wands there. There's a kind of activation. And yeah, as I said earlier, some of you may have been experimenting with psychedelics, and that could be part of what this is. There's definitely a changing mind. Like, there's something changing about your mind, and some of you may be experiencing this energy where you are at the threshold of deciding to kind of just remove the blindfold and come out of a space of being kind of either in denial of the truth or I'm hearing exposed. Some of you may just be choosing to kind of like let what's real be real and accept that and work with that and not sort of try to avoid it or shun it or hide away from it in ways that actually just perpetuates an unhappiness or a discontentedness because you're just lying to yourself, right? So there's a lot here, there's a lot of energy here about truth, about understanding, about like, there's something also in here that's really beautiful that's like hard to pinpoint from one card, but there's a feeling here of like embodying a kind of complexity that's very, I'm hearing passionate. I like the Star card in the reading here. It's feeling like Star card and the Ace of Cups together. This feels like there is a willingness to kind of, I'm hearing emboldened. There's something here about being able to, I feel like there's something in the energy of these two cards and in the spread in general where some of you may be stepping into a time where you feel like you're more ready to be visible and more seen. Like you might be, whether that actually means like you want to step into the public eye in some way, or simply you may be feeling like you want to share your gifts more. You might be ready to kind of like, you know, like share what it is that you've been interested in for years that you might have been doing in private, and just be more vocal about it or more sharing about it, whether it's in, you know, social media or just like amongst friends and families. There's something here about like being revealed, being exposed, being sharing and offering like your gifts to people in a way that like you may not have been able to or ready to do before. So beautiful. It's interesting here with the Temperance card too, because like, look, the Temperance card and the Star card both have these two sort of cosmic figures that are handling water and vessels. They both have two vessels and they're both kind of moving water around. You see that? I like that. I feel that there's something here with that about like, again, receptivity and sharing and openness. And also there's something there about like, again, acceptance of who you are and acceptance of the path that you feel called to move on, to move towards, whether or not it fits the status quo or whether or not, like, I feel like there's something there. I said the word complexity before and I want to go back to it. I feel like there's something there about accessing a certain kind of energy that is sort of challenging the status quo, or maybe challenging, you know, even if that means your family members. Like maybe you might be choosing to step onto a path that is very unconventional, and in that sense, in the sense of unconventionality, it makes it a little complex. And for some of you, if that's tapping into a place where your family might be triggered by your choices, that's something that I'm feeling here with this energy. It's like maybe the choices that you're making now are feeling really aligned for you, and it's what makes you feel whole and complete and really precisely aligned with your truth and the path that you wish to walk, that you know you feel called to move on. But if you might feel like it triggers some family members or triggers people in your circle, whether that's friends or co-workers or whatever. But I feel there's a confidence in you right now that is kind of overcoming any resistance that you may have in the past allowed to affect you of other people's opinions and thoughts and comments. It's something, there's something you're overriding that and just moving forward with a kind of grace that is very empowered and really beautiful. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Emperor reverse, King of Wands, Page of Cups, and Knight of Wands. This is really interesting. You have Emperor reverse, fire energy, another fire, King of Wands, and then Knight of Wands. So a lot of fire energy there. You could be dealing with either a Leo or an Aries for some of you. And then Page of Cups, Knight of Wands. I feel for some of you, this is a specific message. Like there could be a budding romance happen or some offer coming towards you from a fiery person. Someone that is showing interest and enthusiasm towards you. It doesn't say anything about whether or not that's a long-term thing or whatever. It's just showing up here as some interest and opportunity. For some of you, I feel like that energy is actually more about your creative fire that's being stoked right now, and you seeing the opportunities that you have created by your own willingness to just take risks and take action and experiment and move forward in ways that's just more fun and light, rather than feeling so serious about like what you feel like you have to do to achieve something. There's a lightness here, which I'm really appreciating. Let's see what else is here. I'm loving all this Cups energy. There's a lot of, like, again, these two major arcana cards, the Temperance and the Star card, both have watery cup energy in them. Then you have this Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Eight of Cups, Five of Cups, Nine of Cups, Page of Cups. There's a lot of cup energy, water energy, but it feels very creative. I'm hearing blossoming. I'm hearing experimenting. It's just a feeling of like an overwhelming sensation of like a lot of inspiration and a lot of, it's an activation. There's a lot of activated, and again, I'm coming back to this feeling like some of you have been experimenting with psychedelics and it's really changing your life, and that's awesome. I'm all over it. I support. Yeah, keep opening up. I'm hearing explore. Sun energy is very strong in this reading too. So it's a nice balance, you know, you have a lot of watery energy, cups, but there's also a lot of fire energy with all the Wands cards and the Sun and the Emperor card too. I feel for some of you, you may actually need to, this could be just a message to say like maybe you need a little bit more sun energy on your skin. Like you might actually just need to go outside and spend a little time in the sun. And that could also have a very activating effect. It's also a purifying energy. Yeah. I also feel that for some of you, this is a specific message. For some of you, you may be in a cycle where you've started something, you know, somewhat recently, and there's something there about like the Aries season. So it could be by the full moon in Aries. I'm not sure what month that would be, or it could just be the sun season of Aries next year. That there could be a culmination period. That's a specific message for someone. Okay, I feel that's it for the general reading. I'm going to take the Voyager deck now and shuffle again to give you a higher octave spread. Just double check again here, there's nothing else. What's really standing out at me now about when I'm looking at the cards here is all the hands. So I feel for some of you, there is this very strong urge towards creation, making things with your hands, whether that's some kind of like craftsmanship, sewing, or like painting, or wood, or drawing, or sewing, something about making. There's definitely a lot of creative energy here, and I feel like working with your hands is definitely an avenue to explore. I think also good to get kind of like a little bit of off screen time. Like there's definitely something here about working with the hands, channeling your creative energy into making. And that also being a kind of a way of getting activated and channeling life force, creative energy through you. Okay, let's take a look at the Voyager deck. While I'm shuffling, please again center your energy and send it over into the deck so I can get really clear messages. The higher octave reading is designed to give a little bit more insight into the energy, the forces at play that we may not be able to see, to give a little bit more insight into what we're actually dealing with and how best to kind of work with those energies to make the most of the opportunities that we're being presented with. So let's take a look at what that is here. Seven of Worlds, crossed by the Four of Worlds, Nine of Wands, Sage of Wands, Time Space, which is the Judgment card, Magician in reverse, Man of Cups, Eight of Worlds, the Emperor again in reverse, Four of Crystals, Temperance, again you had the Temperance here in this part of the reading in the last spread, Four of Cups with the Emperor, also in reverse. I think you had that in the previous reading, no? Sage of Crystals reversed and Eight of Cups reversed. Okay. I'm hearing transverse. I'm going to look that up on the dictionary because I don't really know what that's about. Let's have a look. Situated or extending across something. Turn in from the late Middle English, from Latin, meaning turned across. Crosswise, crossways, horizontal, diagonal, oblique, or slanted. Transverse. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see if it comes up again in the reading. So again, repeating cards, you have the Temperance and the Emperor. But this feels like quite a different reading here. Eight of Worlds, Eight of Cups, two eights in the reading. Two Sages in the reading as well, and the Emperor. So I feel that some of you may have been coming out of a cycle where there have been some very maybe challenging aspects to deal with, some turbulent energy of like unexpected changes or just difficult aspects that you may have been up against, whether or not that's in your own life alone or whether there's been some difficulty in your relationship. That's the Judgment card coming into the reading. How I'm seeing this here is that a lot of, there's this very uplifting feeling of like you sort of taking the energy of the events as they're unfolding and really rising up to meet that energy in a way that really enables you to kind of make the most of the situation as it's turning and make real big breakthroughs and kind of there's like a leaping forward feeling of kind of quantum dimensional shifting. It's very like it's a massive leap in a way. Like for some of you, you may have been experiencing, like I said, some challenging aspects, and you might have popped out on the other side by now. And some of you may take a moment here to just kind of see where you are and actually just turn and look back where you came from, and it's like a whole different world, Like you've traveled across time and space into a whole new paradigm of living where you may not really even understand how you got here, but there's been a lot of like, what I'm feeling the energy is like again, it's such a psychedelic feeling of like having traveled a really vast distances and collected a lot of information and popped out on the other side. And you may not have an ability to linearly explain how you got to where you got to, but the expansion and the development is so exponential and so multidimensional that you've kind of like, it's almost like you've collected also fragments of your own self through your journey. Like you may have been kind of, you may be standing in a place right now where you feel so relieved that you kind of like collected yourself back together again after being kind of a bit lost for a while. It's a very strong feeling of kind of everything coming together in a way that you may not have expected, but somehow there's like this shamanic energy here. Some of you may have actually even been, you know, potentially working with plant medicines in a shamanic setting, or you might have been on your own way kind of practicing or experimenting with psychedelic substances or plant medicines, or even just breath work or some kind of shamanic practice to kind of bring you into a space where there is a type of wholeness here. Like there's a magic at work here that's, again, shamanic, profound, multidimensional, journeying. It's a journeying energy here where it feels like you've collected back pieces of fragments of information that's help you put things together in a way that gives you such a greater understanding of things from a really heightened perspective. And it's very healing. I'm hearing delve. There's this exploration. There's an exploration energy with this spread that I really like, and it's kind of a collecting of understanding that's bringing a sensation of wholeness, of wisdom, but definitely like a lot of shamanic energy, like medicinal, shamanic, you know. Yeah, you either understand what I'm talking about or you don't. But there's this complexity, again, coming through in this reading. I was talking about that in the earlier reading too. There's this beautiful complexity of like coming through a really maybe confusing time, but just being willing to roll with the uncertainty and unknown aspects of what you've been going through in a way that's like, again, very shamanic, very like being able to see through the veil, and even if you, with a sort of knowing and understanding or kind of intelligence that allows you to kind of process through information and uncertainty and unknowing with a sort of trust in the process that you may or may not at some point come to a place where you understood what that was about. And that's some of what I'm feeling here. There's like a beautiful like experiential, spontaneous, complex, enduring kind of journeying energy here that's bringing you to a place where you're just, there's a sensation of resolving. And also, again, this creativity is coming through with that. Like your experiences may be fueling you to be very creative at this time. You may be finding like ways to resolve and process information of emotional baggage from the past that's now being able to be transmuted in ways that's very beautiful through creative process, through your hands. It could be through music even. But yeah, extremely transformative energy here. I really like this reading. I hope that some of that landed for you. I don't know, it was a little bit out there. Some of you may not really like use that kind of language or have that any of that going on for you, but hopefully like the energy transmitted in a way that you can receive some of this beautiful vibrations that I'm feeling here through this spread. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, purity, 2 of Wands. There's definitely purifying energy with this. 9 of Crystals. It's called narrowness in this deck. Another sage. Now you have 3 sages. This one's called Sage of Worlds. It's Master, and 10 of Crystals. So what I feel is here is that there has been, or there is, an ongoing process here of some kind of journeying energy, whether or not you're working with a shamanic energy, or whether or not you're working with plant medicines or psychedelics, or whether you're working with a healer, or whether you're doing your own type of like, you know, self-directed magical work where you are doing your own ritual practice, whether that's through, you know, spell casting or divination or, you know, meditation, hypnosis, breathwork, whatever. There's something there, like this. I feel like it's very dedicated practice here that you've been undertaking, and it's really bringing about rewards. I'm really feeling like a sensation here of you actually finally getting a sensation here of coming to wholeness and understanding. There's a feeling of understanding here. Like there's 10, 9, and 4 of crystals. What else? Sage of crystals. There's this element here of is an integrated energy of mind and thoughts and ideas, along with like very vast and what's the word? Like kind of aqueous, very kind of unpin downable energy of you know, concepts, ideas, but very vague and sort of out there, floaty, kind of combining together with this very clear, precise, pristine energy of like mental thoughts and like intellectual organization. And somehow there's a coalescence of those things that helps you have a sensation of bridging, and it brings clarity. It brings clarity. I feel that's it for your reading, Pisces. I hope that there's some things in there you can work with. I'm just going to check over here, make sure I've got everything. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I feel that's it. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you for subscribing. Please hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when readings are being uploaded so you don't miss any. There's playlists on your screen now for previous readings for Pisces from months gone by. If you're new here, you may want to go back and look at some previous readings and check out what's going on here. There's also a playlist for the other zodiac signs for June this month. So you may, if Pisces is your sun sign, you can also watch your ascendant or your moon sign, or just literally click on anything that jumps out at you. Use your intuition, and you'll be guided to messages that are meant for you. You may want to watch that again, because that was a really interesting reading. I'm going to watch that again for sure. Yeah. Review it again at the end of the month too, because you might not understand anything here now, but like as events unfold, it could be more relevant later on. But yeah, it was my pleasure to read for you just now, and I hope to see you in the next reading.